we were blessed with a milking machine, which is good, you know.
Early mornings, though, right?
Well, we got 2.5 gallons of milk in the morning and 2.5 at night.
Ooh,
yep,
geez.
I got up at 5 every morning. Lots of real cream on the top of those gallons. I used to deliver them when I was 15, 16, 17 on the way to school, 50 cents a gallon.
Not bad.
Yeah, I broke one of those in my Volkswagen down there. I went in the vents. Oh my God, I had to sell the Volkswagen.
It was that bad?
Oh, it was that bad. Couldn't ever get it
clean it out? Oh, no. Yeah, I could see why that would smell a little bit after a while.
Hey.
Hello, my name's Dyden, and this is my dad, Michael.
How you doing?
And yeah, figured I'd get an interview for what he does, and he's been quite an inspiration in my life, so to say the least. So
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah. What do we do?
When did you get? Okay, so where are you from? I guess is a good place to start, right?
Born and raised in Hillsboro, Oregon, which is towards the northwest portion of Oregon. And I was born and raised, grew up in the country, lived on an acre in Verboort when I was a little kid. Folks bought a house on an acre with a garage and a barn for $3,300, 1958. They sold it for a nice profit, 64. They bought 40 acres surrounded by Bureau of Land Management. Got a year-round stream, Panther Stream, that goes, or creek that goes running through it. Springs water, spring water, gravity, flow, really nice. So grew up raising animals, hunting, fishing, doing all kinds of fun things, farming, worked on the farms, and all that kind of stuff. But I then left home, went to Southern California, and I met an interesting person, bought a piece of property in Oregon, went up to camp on it, and woke up in the morning, sun was shining down, the air was fresh, made some coffee, deer walked by, looked up, an eagle's flying over the top of me, and I was going, man, it doesn't get much better than that. And I bought 4 properties in a row there that looked out over the valley, to the north, Sprague River Valley, down on Council Butte, where all the Indian tribes used to gather. And thought about building a recording studio that never happened. Hung on to those properties for many, many years, and then eventually sold them. And they're sold now, but basically got into the business and been buying and selling land for 30 years. Ariel helps, does all the books, and we finance, so we're the bank, and we help people, with $500 to $1,000 down on most parcels, so they could afford to buy and own something that normally they couldn't get.
Yeah, because banks wouldn't necessarily loan such a little amount.
No, banks won't loan on raw land.
And on raw land.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
why do you
nothing
think
to
that is?
secure, no home.
Oh, that's
They gotta have something that's worth something if they gotta take it back.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Repo it, yeah.
They don't want to get into the land business. They just want their money.
That's it's kind of like it's real estate too. So technically, the government owns it in a way, right? I mean, that's right. So that they don't want to try to.
To me, it's all dependent upon the zoning of the county and the city and the state and the feds. I mean, that's what really controls you. It'd be nice where people could just go and live off grid.
Yeah.
And that's a subject we could talk about, because everybody wants to live off grid, and they're all looking at it with different definitions of off grid.
I'd like to do that too, and I know it can be really difficult for the different ordinances and depending on the county and stuff. But that's something that I've thought about doing. What's like the entry fee for being able to even think about something like that?
The first step is you got to go and find a state and a county that'll allow you to do it.
In general.
That's why people go to Taos to build earthship homes.
Where?
Taos, New Mexico.
Oh, okay, New Mexico.
Yeah,
okay.
To build the earthship homes. It's the capital of the world for that.
Because they're able to go there and there's no legal.
Well,
like, they
let's
can't-
just say the zoning laws are a lot more lax.
Yeah.
There's still places that you can go in a trailer, and stay there and not get kicked off your property.
Right. Just park and live.
Yeah, to give you an example, a couple years ago, you could camp 120 days a year on our properties that we sell.
Right.
They're zoned to sell, zoned to, buy and then sell, and you could have a home.
Right.
There are one, but you can have a manufactured house. You can have some animals. The bigger the animal, the fewer that you can have.
But the entry to be able, at least in Klamath Falls, the entry, or your area, is it needs a well and a septic, right? Is that correct?
If you're going to live on the land,
Well, septic, and then a
if you're going to live
single
on the
family
land,
home.
basically, if you're going to live on the land, you need at least a tiny house.
Right.
Has to have a septic system.
Okay.
So basically, you get a site evaluation. Permit's about $1,000. Dig a few test holes. They come out and look at them, determine what kind of septic. Once that's determined, if you've got a standard or cap and fill or different types, right? Then you know what it's going to cost. And once that's put in and you pay for a building permit, then you can get a temporary use permit to legally live there while you're building.
Right.
And you can have as small as a little tiny house that's got a bathroom and a kitchen, and even a few hundred square feet. The key is a septic system and either a cistern that's got pressure, so you have running water, a pressurized cistern where you haul your water or catch it, or both, or a well. You've got to have some kind of source to move the flow through for your septic to work, for them to give you an okay to build.
So you could
you've
pay
got all
for
kinds of expenses.
Right.
I mean, even the building permit on a small little place at this time, people are paying 5, 6, 7,000. If it's pre-manufactured, you could get it for a little less because they don't have to go out and inspect and check so many times. So
Oh, yeah.
maybe,
As it's being developed, you mean? As it's being
Well,
built?
no, if you, say you took in a prefab or a manufacturer, your permits will be less for that than it will be for a stick-built house.
Oh, I see.
Because the county doesn't have to go out so many times and, for the electric and for this and for that.
Oh, I see.
Each time it's done.
I see.
Each step.
Yeah.
So I've got a guy and his wife, Norm and Noma. They bought 2.5 acres just above Bonanza, and he is in his mid-80s. She's 80-something, 81. He might be 87 now. They've been building for 3 years. Finally put the front door on. He just called me a couple of weeks ago, and he's so excited. I mean, he welded his own little what do you call the vents in the foundation for where it breathes.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
welded those instead of he's just a fanatic.
Yeah.
He's just like, he used to work in the big sawmills, and he used to be a crane operator, and he's just a master, and
Right.
he is really loving it.
DIY type of dude, like
Yeah.
just Mr. Fix It.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
So he's a happy camper, him and his wife. They got out of their fifth wheel, and he extended his permits for all 3 years, kept paying, the extras. I think he's probably spent at least 10, 12 grand in permits.
so the permits to make the house.
Just for all the way through.
Yeah. And then regarding a fifth wheel, like you can't just pull up and park a fifth wheel there. Can you get any type of leniency?
You can
you're
park a
developing?
fifth wheel there, or a trailer, or a tent, 21 days every 6 months in Klamath County.
Okay.
So let's get back to the story I was going to start earlier. It used to be 120 days camping a year. Well, everyone just moved on, started growing their crops, gave
Right.
them a long enough time. They got established. They didn't go anywhere. No one kicked them out, and it finally got ridiculous. So the county changed it to 21 days every 6 months. Not this June, but June past, and started kicking people off the mountain and changing things,
Right.
and enforcing stricter codes to where you can't just go get a site evaluation and move on, and you're there building, but not really. So you gotta move forward, and you gotta have money to move forward.
Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting to people is, if they've got the money, that's totally fine, and they can come and make it go right. But got a lot of young kids that, you know, are excited and this or that, and I get them to just focus on the land, double up on the payments, get it paid. Because if you pay, you know, double up on a piece of property, you know, you're paid in 4 or 5 years instead of the regular 12, and it's a lot less interest. And you know, I explain to everyone I get my interest up front. You know? So you don't want to buy 2 or 3 lots and pay me, you know, all that interest. Because you're losing out. So buy one at a time and pound your money down. That's how I bought my first one. Had it paid off really fast because I was focused.
Right. And then after you pay it off, then it becomes an asset, and then you own it outright. So you don't have to worry about it. Then you can focus on building on it, right?
Yeah. I mean, when my daughter was younger, let's see, she bought 5 or 6 lots, you know, and showed her how to sell them. And I think she's got one left now that somebody's paying on. But, you know, it's a fun business, helped pay off her school loans. And the key's, you know, knowing what you're doing. So we stick to this little south central area, Klamath County, because we know it. And, you know, we try to help people find a property they're going to love.
Right. That's very cool. What do you think is, and by the way, I know most of this already for the most part, but you know, someone's got to be the narrator, and right, someone's got to tell a story.
Shoot,
I guess.
Ask the question.
Yeah.
I like to talk.
Yeah.
You can see.
So so I mean, what do you think is like besides what you already went over, what's the biggest questions that you get asked?
Let's see. Marketplace, direct messages, is it available?
Yeah, right. And then they can just go to the website and stuff like that. But
I like to refer people to the website. I mean, a lot of people just, oh man, they want it now. They don't even want to look.
Right.
But hey, 30 years we've created and compiled and put all this information together, and it's pretty much all there. What do I get asked? You know, can I go live on it in my fifth wheel?
Right.
That's the main, or my motorhome.
Right.
I need a place to live in my motorhome.
Right.
You know, with electric. A lot of people want a stream running through it.
Of course. I know it's a big question.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Who doesn't?
That's right.
A water source. That'd be great.
They want a water source.
Yeah.
So what I tell them is, if you want an inexpensive well, buy something down in the valley where you can get a well in it, you know, 1 to 300 feet. It's not expensive, and it's good water. The further up you go in elevation, of course, my favorite place, Bly Mountain, where we buy and sell land, really nice, you know, ponderosa pines, cedar, fir, I mean, every kind. And, you know, gets a big snowpack, so grows some nice trees, but you know, you might have to drill quite a distance, so that is a deterrent. A lot of people don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are the ordinances on or the regulations for storing water up that high? Like, if are you able to do rain capture and stuff like that?
Yeah, you can get your water, you can haul your water, you can have a cistern. If you're going to live there, though, it needs to be pressurized and hooked into your septic system, and you know, working through the home.
Right.
They want a complete house, not just a shack.
Right.
Yeah.
So
a foundation, you know, even if it's a little Mennonite tiny home, they got to have a foundation. So you've got to have some kind of plans, you know, you got to show them what you're doing, and you got to get an approval, pay the permits.
Yeah. Legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as far as, can I live there in my trailer or my fifth wheel or whatever, back to the county laws always, you know, city, county, state. At this time, county's 21 days, camping every 6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go and stay there. I have a lot of people for years that, you know, did nothing but put in a little drive, a little pad. I had a Forest Grove policeman and his family. He would just go down there. Everyone in the family left all of their devices home. You know, they spend the weekend.
Right. Just go and camp.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
out. And they loved it. You know, so you do something like that, you know, vacation on it, spend some time, and eventually you got something to build on if and when you feel like it, or something to give your children, or something. You know,
Oh, I mean,
got land.
overall, the land value is only going to go up. You know, I mean, that's pretty much for a long term.
The way I see it
It's
is
always
that,
going up.
look, nobody really owns the land. I try to be a caretaker and pass it on and find caretakers,
Right.
you know, and
Stewards.
live with the government and their zoning and all the bull.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all about the land. I love the land. I think the more land that you can be responsible for, hey, better.
Yes, especially if you're, you know, growing things and giving that to people and all kinds. I mean, there's all kinds of potential for.
Oh, hey, I know all about that. I mean,
forestry, everything.
let's see. My brother probably must have been 3 years old. I was 5, you know, and we're out in the barn butchering rabbits. You know, I'm serious.
Yeah.
You know, and
What do you think of rabbit? I've had it once.
oh, we raised it later. I love it. You
Yeah,
know, we
rabbit
raised
stew.
it and we actually sold it commercially, just like we did all kinds of
Ross
stuff.
Market.
Yeah, so I was doing that at a young age. My folks probably, you know, can literally, when we had a family of 6, you know, at least 100 quarts of beans minimum, you
Yeah.
know, 50, 60 quarts of every other kind of thing. All,
Pickles.
You know. Oh yeah,
Mom's pickles are
my
the best. everyone who's had her pickles
my
will
mom's
say those are
famous
really
for her
good.
dill pickles.
Yeah,
and
those are
they
super good.
And they still can today. My dad's 92. My mom is 87, going to turn 88, and they are healthy. Dad's doctor says I have never seen anyone your age as healthy as you. So they still drive around, party, you know, go to the coast. They like to go to a casino and meet their friends where they have not a lot of gambling that they're into, but the food.
Right.
Yeah.
The buffets.
And the shows
like their
or
treat.
whatever. Yeah, it's a treat.
Yeah.
And, you know, they used to go elk hunting for their anniversary in Eastern Oregon.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So those were the times that 2 kids got farmed out to my grandparents and 2 out to my aunt and uncle. And those were fun times.
Yeah.
And that'd go for a week or 2. But, yeah, so grew up. We moved up on the hill, and I raised a senator's sheep. Took care of them morning and night. Another senator that lived up the road, his cattle, took care of them. And of course, in the summer times, doing all the hay, building miles of fencing.
Picking strawberries too.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
those stories?
I mean, as early as I can remember. So, yeah, Rod's 3 years old when we started. I'm 5. And Deanna's 6. Gary, you know, he's 4. If we didn't eat a berry till then, we got a nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a nickel would buy a big candy bar, chocolate. I'm serious.
You wanted the nickel.
Yeah, so I spent mine every day, and my brother Gary saved his nickel every day.
Yeah. So he was a little more conservative, a little more of a
Oh, man.
saver.
I had to keep, you know, walking the ditches for more beer bottles, a penny a piece, man, because I like to buy and sell and eat and do this and that. You know.
Can't blame you.
Whatever. It was a fun time. So, you know, up on the hill, you know, I think I was 12 when we moved up there. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Learned a lot. The folks started a 4-H for us, and I bought a Holstein dairy cow, named her Starbright. Raised her, milked her every day. My sister helped milk. We were blessed with a milking machine, which is good, you know.
Early mornings though, right?
Well, we got 2.5 gallons of milk in the morning and 2.5 at night.
Ooh.
Yep, I
Jeez.
got up at 5 every morning. Lots of real cream on the top of those gallons. I used to deliver them when I was 15, 16, 17 on the way to school, 50 cents a gallon.
Not bad.
Yeah, I broke one of those in my Volkswagen down there. Went in the vents. Oh my God, I had to sell the Volkswagen.
It was that bad?
Oh, it was that bad. Couldn't ever get
Couldn't clean it out? Oh,
No.
no. Yeah, I can see why that would smell a little bit after a while.
Hey.
So what got you into the land business? You like spoke almost like a mysterious figure down in California.
Basically what happened was I was with this gal, and her brother bought and sold land. And at a Thanksgiving dinner, he said, "I heard you're from Oregon." I said, "Yeah, I heard you buy and sell land." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I'll sell you a 2.5 acre piece cheap if you want." And I said, "Sure." Showed me some pictures, right? So I gave him $1,000, and then the next 3 months I gave him, another $1,000. Bought my first piece of property for $4,000. Had a nice view. I loved it. And one day he called and said he was going to be out of town for 5-6 months. Wanted to know if I wanted to live in his home and run his business.
That's fortunate.
Yeah,
So
it was
like a mentor for you in a way.
So he was a mentor.
Yeah.
And the way I started out was simply, going to the mailbox every day, opening up all of these envelopes, looking at all these checks, from all these people that were buying all this land from him. And I did it every day for all those months. And when he came back, I said, "Hey, I want to know how to do what you do."
Yeah, right. Because you have a steady income stream,
Oh,
right?
yeah. So, he wasn't even there, and he was making money.
Right.
Yeah. And, it was because he was the bank. And, he had land. People wanted it. They didn't have the cash to buy it. And he would sell it for a low down and a low monthly payment.
Right.
And so, he just taught me how to buy good land at a good price and how to sell it, and find the markets. It used to be I drove all over from probably Burbank down to San Diego, over into Orange County, hundreds of miles, hundreds of thousands of miles. For years when I first started. And I
just showing pieces.
I just put an ad in a newspaper, and I was busy.
Okay.
And so I'd go around and show them pictures of the property that I had bought from Bill, and sold it on terms.
Right.
So it was fun, and I learned how to do it. It eventually turned to little nickel ad throwaway newspapers. That's how I found buyers, and then eBay. And Craigslist.
Slowly moved on to the internet.
Yeah, now social media, thanks to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, slowly adapting with the times.
Got to do that.
Yep.
Yep.
Very cool. What what would you say is like the most difficult part of your business? Like the most challenging?
Every once in a while, maybe every 4 or 5 years in the business, I'll run into someone that, just isn't quite all there. And no matter how nice I am or how much I give, they just want to destroy.
Right.
And so it's a test in, love, kindness, reflections to view. I just, okay, how would I want to be treated?
Right.
So I deal with it the best I can, but that is the hardest part of my job. I pray every day for the right buyers, and I pray for those people that are buying from us, not just for their health, but their financial security.
Right.
And for everything.
Yeah.
so that's probably been the most challenging. And then finding people that just don't have respect for the land, if you happen to run into those people, and no matter, you end up with that once in a while. And then, allowing them their space, but still trying to be firm. Um, when people can't pay,
Right.
when they're behind, I try to work with them as long as I can, but, the key is communication. So always, always, always we come to an agreement,
But whether it's met or not, that's usually the determining factor, right? Slowly, as trust is broken more and more, then you have to say no, right? Or you have to.
You can only go so long.
Yeah.
But
especially since you're running a business.
I've had people that I've worked with for a long, long time that have ended up, coming good and coming through. But in hard times, what we try to do is, if they're 3 months behind and can't come to an agreement on what they can do, then we talk.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, you probably are making a lot of good relationships by doing that, because there's no bank that I know of that would go 3 months. I mean,
well, not only that, and this is what's funny. So let's say they go 3 months and I lose, $600 of income. Let's say they only gave me, $500 down, and then they just disappeared, which has happened a couple times.
Right, sure.
I still send them a letter of credit for that 500 down, and hey, when they're back on their feet, if they want to try it again, I'll let them use that as far as an amount off the price of the property, and we can try it again.
Right.
But this time I'll ask for a little more down.
so they're more committed.
Yeah, they get a little more invested in the
Right.
dirt. So the more they're invested, the more seasoned the paper is, quote unquote.
Right.
And so you don't have to worry.
Right.
I mean, when you first sell somebody, you got to kind of baby along until they get, rocking and rolling on paying you normal,
Right.
and they're, set with, okay, this is my property, I'm responsible, and I'm the caretaker.
Right.
And Mr. Long needs to get paid.
So yeah. So now, flipped. What's your favorite part of your business of selling land?
Listening to the people that are just ecstatic because they can't thank me enough for what I've done for them and their families. I've worked with people through the years that it's been tough, but I mean, they've got their land, and now they've got more land, and that's the most rewarding thing, where people end up very, very happy and lives change because of what I do.
Right. They're able to be in a quiet place.
Yeah, they
have their dream.
Yeah, they found their peace, and they're quiet, and they're excited and happy, joyful, got a place to bug out to.
I got a bug.
Yeah, I noticed that.
yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I can see why that'd be very rewarding.
Hey, it's fun.
Yeah.
But
have you thought?
I also like the fact that I get to continue working for myself, which I've done most of my life. And that way I can walk down the steps and go to work, at 8 o'clock and not have to commute.
Right.
Or
be on your own terms. Yeah.
And lots of times, I'll get up early and I'll knock out a lot of work, and thanks to the phone these days, it's done before I even get to my office.
Yeah.
And I spend less time in the office.
Yeah.
I'm outdoors and doing, living life large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about what do you think? How do you feel about like automation and stuff like that, going into the new age of internet?
Oh my God, just freaks me out, man. Okay, when I graduated from high school, I was a really fast typer. Computers were coming out. I said, thank God, I'll never have to get into that.
Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah, what a joke.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny. Not to a little spiritual note. back in '85, I had a near-death experience. And when I was out there rocking and rolling and arguing with God on why I didn't want to come back, I was being gifted pictures of my future. And one of those things was too many children. And another thing was we were all working together with this high-speed thing that I couldn't quite figure out that connected everybody, that allowed us to just prosper. And I was older, I was healthy, but I had too many kids. Well, on a side note,
enter me.
yeah, Diaden's mother is my wife, and in fact, tomorrow will be our 25th anniversary, silver anniversary.
5 years.
Yeah, and I've known her since '78.
Before I was even born.
Before he was born. So,
Yep.
anyway, so that's why I had too many children in that vision. I couldn't quite figure that out.
I actually didn't know that story until just recently.
Yeah, well,
I wasn't prepared. Wasn't prepared for it yet. But since I, started getting, I guess, the entrepreneurial bug. And,
Well, I thought back in '94 when Ariel and I got married, and you guys, the kids put us online. I thought, okay, so it was the internet that was what I was seeing.
right.
Well, what I really was seeing was social media,
Yeah.
and all of that has now come to pass.
Yeah.
And
There's more though.
Yeah, well, let me just finish off that near-death experience
All right.
with. I came back and I got into meditation and then prayer, and I focused every day. I wanted the perfect wife, the perfect home, and the perfect job. Well, the job came. I just told you about that. The wife came. I can tell you tons of stories about how we met, but here you are. And, our place, I love it. When Ariel and I walked onto this property and saw Mount Hood in the background, she started jumping up and down and clapping her hands going, "This is what I was talking about." And I go, "Okay, that's the one." Anyway, we love it. Kids love it. Grandkids love it. And we are blessed.
Very much so. I'm very blessed to have a father figure like you.
Thank you.
I,
Well, I applaud your hard work. I applaud your ingenuity and your love and your family compassion. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.